Okay, it's October 7th and we're going to start our class. First thing I want to go over is the agenda. So I'm going to share and so I'm going to have to find it. Sec here. Stupid emails. Okay, so here we go. Can you see my agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is review the quiz, and we'll go over that in some detail. Then we'll review the homework that was assigned for today, lesson 5, 6, 7. And also note on the homework, I sent out an updated list of homework, okay? I just tweaked it a little bit. So use the one that was currently sent to everyone. If for some reason you didn't get it, go to Canvas and you'll see the updated copy in there too, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll go over lecture. It's chapter 3, ratio, proportions, and percent today. At that point, we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll work on problems, okay? So that's what I plan on doing today. So first thing was the quiz. So let me go. Oh, hi, Raisha. Good morning. So I have everyone accounted for. Thank you. I'm going to share the quiz. So I got to go back and find it. Quiz. I posted the quiz key also in Canvas, so you should be able to find that. If you can't, let me know. I really want you guys to get this stuff, okay? So stop sharing, and then I'll share. And we'll go here. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Okay, here's the quiz, the key to the quiz, okay? Number 1 was rounding, and you were round to the nearest thousands. So what you had to do is you had to look at the thousands place, which was 7. Look to the right of that. If that number is 5 or greater, you add 1 to the 7. And then the rest to the right of that becomes zeros. Some of you didn't put the zeros in, or various little changes there, but it should have been 1,438,000. That was the answer, and I want you to show the zeros to the right of that number. Questions on that? How to do that? Everyone got that? Let's look at this thing and pretend we're rounding to the nearest hundreds. Okay, look at this 5. That's the 100th column. Look to the right. What am I going to do in this case? Am I going to change that 5 or leave it?
Change it.
You're going to change it, right? You're going to add 1 to it. So can somebody tell me what that new number would be then, rounded to the hundredths place?
1437600.
Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what I want to see. Okay, that's how you do that. They're all like that. And let's look at this one, rounded to the hundredths place. So this is the decimal, right? It's 2 places to the right of the decimal place. It's a 1. So what am I going to do in that one? You're going to look to the right, just like you did on the one up here, and it's an 8, so it's greater than 5. So you'd add 1 to the 1, right? So that would become a 2. So it'd be 3.02. Don't put zeros after the 2. Just leave it like that. 3.02 would be the answer. Okay. It's not like with whole numbers where you would put zeros after that, but you don't when you're in the decimal area. Okay. You just leave it at 3.02. Okay. Questions on that? And also in Canvas, I put what your score was, okay? I'm not going to send your papers back to you because it's too cumbersome to do that. And some of the copies I couldn't even print. There was just, it just wouldn't print the pages. So I had to sort of look on the screen and figure it out. So I have no documentation to give you back is what I'm trying to say. But please use this key, and using this key and understanding the problem should help you going forward. It's really important to get this stuff, right? We should get it. I don't want anybody to not be able to do this, okay? Okay, look at number 2. Multiply the following. Don't use a calculator. 342 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. Carry the 3. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27. There's no decimal places in here, so the number is 2,736. Okay? Questions on that? Um, again, if you're not comfortable with the math tables, I mean, with the, yeah, with the math tables, you have to have a table to know what 8 times 4 is, or you have to have some information to do this. It even becomes more critical when you're dividing. It's even harder. So either have a math table, a 12 by 12 table, and you know what I mean by that, don't you? It's a matrix. It goes 1 through 12 down and 1 through 12 across, and you intersect every square, and that's the multiplication number. That's the product of those two numbers. That's called a 12 times 12 table. I'm going to post the copy that I made in Canvas for you so you can look at it and also print it off if you want. Okay, if you're multiplying it by decimal, something with decimal points in it, you just take this 782 and you'd multiply it by 1 and you get 782, but then you look at your decimal places and there's 2. There's 1 here and 1 there, so you have to go to the 2 and go left 1, go left 2, so it becomes 7.82.
Yeah.
Okay, questions on that?
No, I just forgot the decimal place.
Yeah, that's
So
the important. Yeah.
remind that. Yeah, I gotta remind
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
Yep.
You just have to remind yourself that's what you have to do in those. Okay.
So I got half of it right.
You got the number right. Okay.
Yes, I
Well, a
did.
few people got the number right, but it's not going to be right if it's 782. Okay. That's the problem. Okay. Okay. So now we're into division. Manually dividing, we're dividing 7 into 343. 7 goes into 34 4 times. Again, if you don't know your multiplication table, it's hard to do this. So if you have a table in front of you, it would help you. 7 into 34, it won't go 5 times because that would be 35. Excuse me, so it has to go 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract that 28 from 36 is 6. Bring down the next number, which is a 3. 7 into 63 goes 9 times. 7 times 9 is 63, and so there's nothing left over. So the answer is 49. Oh, the other comment too is please put a box or circle the answer.
Oh,
That would be helpful too, okay?
yeah.
I should have reminded you about that, but so please do that so I can find your answer, easily, put it that way. Okay, questions on manually division. It's harder than multiplying. It really is because you have to guess. You have to guess what this number will go into this number times. And so if you don't know your multiplication tables, it becomes hard. I know that. That's why you need a table to do that. Okay. If I was giving a test, I would take all these quizzes and I would take questions from the quizzes, and that would be my test. And that's what I normally do when I do tests. I don't I don't try to trick you. Everything I have in the quizzes is important, and it's important to know how to do these things. So I'll do a quiz a week, and if you could take all those quizzes, if you knew every answer in those quizzes, how to do all those, you would do good in this class, okay? So that's the takeaway for you guys, okay? But you're only getting a pass, no pass grade is what it is on this thing. So I'm not, but in Canvas, I am giving you your grade. So have you been all able to look in Canvas and see what you got? No?
I didn't try to look either. I just,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you know how to look. Go in there and
Yeah. I know how. I just
find grade and
it's
go
my
in there.
Wi-Fi.
Okay, and you'll see your grade. I'll post that as soon as I grade the papers all the time. Okay, division. Okay. If a train travels 150 miles in 3 hours, what's the speed of the train? I even put the formula here. Speed is equal to distance divided by time, right? So it's 150 divided by 3. Most of you got this one right. 50 miles per hour, right? The next one, I just did it to, I know, just to make sure you understood. If a car traveled at an average speed of 50 miles per hour, how far could it travel in 2 days? Non-stop, okay? It's not a realistic problem, but it's a problem. So in this case, distance is equal to speed times time. And most people were able to get that, okay? It just takes this formula up here and putting distance by itself on one side. And we'll get into that a little bit more of how to change around a formula. But anyway, distance is equal to speed times time. This particular case, you've got 50 miles per hour. The time is 2 days, but we want to convert it to hours, right? Because the rate is in hours, so we have to convert it to hours. So it's 2 days. There's 24 hours in a day. So when you do that, the days cancel out, and you end up with hours. Hours on the top, and then this hours on the bottom here cancels this hours out, and you end up with miles. And so it becomes 50 times 2, which is 100, times 24, which is 2,400. Some of you ended up with 2480 and just weird little numbers like that, but you just made a silly mistake. But it would be 50 times 2 times 24. Okay. Questions on that one? Okay. Please know how to do this. Okay. I want you to really understand this. If you don't, shoot me an email or whatever, and I'll be glad to explain it to you more. Okay. But I want you to understand it. Okay. We're going to go on to the second page. Okay. Second page. Um, okay. Should see the second page now. Okay, adding numbers. Most of you got this right. The key is an alignment, right? Lining that decimal place up and then adding the numbers appropriately accordingly, right? It's just lining them up and adding the numbers. Okay. And now we get into write this mixed number as an improper fraction. You take the denominator times the whole number and then add it to the numerator. The denominator times the whole number added to the numerator and divide by the denominator. So in this particular case, it becomes 12 plus 2 or 14 over 3. And most of you got that. Okay. Convert this improper fraction into a mixed number. So we're going backwards now. We want to get a mixed number. We start out here with a mixed number, got to an improper fraction. We're going backwards. So we have to manually divide. Okay. You have to divide the 2 into 9. 2 into 9 goes 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 left over. There's nothing to bring down, so it's a remainder of 1, R of 1. You write this as 4 and 1 over 2. Okay, that becomes the mixed number. Okay, so it's important to understand this process, how to convert from a improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay. Okay, another one. Convert the improper fraction into a mixed number. 22 divided by 3. Same thing. 3 into 22 goes 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21 with 1 left over. So an R of 1. So it becomes 7 and 1 over 3. Okay. And then the last one, evaluate and simplify. 12 and 4/5 plus 3 and 2/5. A couple ways you can do this. I chose to convert both to improper fractions and add it that way. I could have taken the 12 plus the 3 and then just put that aside and then added the 4/5 to the 2/5. I mean, a couple ways of doing it. Everybody understand that? What I did is I chose to convert it into a improper fraction. I made this 12 and 4/5 into 64 over 5. I made this 3 and 2/5 into 17 over 3. Then I added the numerators together and I got 81 over 5. Then I had to do the manual math and divide the 5 into 81. And I got 5 into 8 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract that from the 8. Gives you 3. Bring down the 1. 5 into 31 goes 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. 1 left over, so it's a remainder of 1. So it becomes 16 and 1 over 5. Okay. So questions on those problems? Anybody?
No,
Yes.
it took me a little bit to do the fraction things
Okay.
because when you do them, you put it like in a straight line. Whereas when I see it, I put 4 over and then you know what I mean?
You mean not exactly?
Yeah, I do the 4 and 2
Or-
thirds, right?
yeah.
And then when you go to do that, the 4 times 3 plus 2,
Yes.
I do it, I want to say vertical.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You put the
Yeah.
2
So that's why
down
it took
here.
me a bit to get that. But
Okay.
since last class, I finally got it.
Okay. Well,
So yeah.
that's a good comment. Yeah, I would put it horizontal only because I think it's easier because now I know, because I have to change the 4
Yeah.
times 3 to 12. Then I have to add the 12 and the 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah. I
wouldn't
just
put
couldn't
it. Yeah, I
compute
see what you're saying. I wouldn't.
writing versus how I would. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
know
I
how
would.
to.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
got better at those now, just so once I
yeah,
realized.
I would never put it vertical only because it's easier to keep track of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is too that this forward slant here, if I was writing on a board, I'd put a line all the way across, a divisor line, right?
Yeah.
Put the 3 underneath that. I can't do that in this annotation because I'm not on a board anyway, so that's why I do
Yeah.
it like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this stuff? It's important just to understand how to do them. They may seem simple to some people and not simple to others. I understand that. If it's not simple, if it's not easily understood, please let me know, okay? Because I want you to understand. You've got to learn how to do this stuff, okay? It's important. It's a building block going forward, okay? Okay, so enough on that. I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to go to reviewing the homework. Okay, share. Go back to that, to the agenda. Okay, questions on the homework. Was everyone able to get all the homework?
Yeah.
Anyone not? If there's something you want me to do, I'll certainly do it on the board to make it easier for you. There was, yes?
Yeah. I was able to get 19,
Okay,
but I had to do it after I saw the answer because I couldn't. So I was wondering if you could just go over it so I know.
sure.
The process. Is that
19 on which lesson?
the decimals and fraction one?
Oh, okay, decimal operation.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the drill bits or whatever.
okay,
Yeah, that.
okay. Let me find it. Just a minute. Okay, hang on. Stop sharing.
On page 258.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to go.
Yeah,
to
thank you. I
my
gotta put that
lecture,
on there. Yeah, I'll put
and
that on.
I had trouble with that one too. I finally figured it out only because
okay,
helped
let's
me.
look at it. 258. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
on that same page, I was looking at 23 and 29. So
Okay,
I'm with
let's
her on
look
that
at them.
page.
That's okay.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Let's look at them. Okay, so here's the page, right?
Yep.
Okay. So the first one was 19, you said. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Which of the following shows the drill bits arranged in order from least to greatest? Oh, I see. So we're looking at this chart up here.
Mhm.
Least to greatest in size. Okay, not price, but size. Okay. Okay. I've got to write it, just a minute. 9/16, I have to write it down here. Core box, 5/30 seconds. Classic, 3/8. And then bevels, 1/2. Okay, so here's what I would do. I'm gonna stop sharing this. I'm gonna go to my paint board, which I don't have open. Okay, just a sec here. No, just a sec here. So now I should, okay, here's paint, okay. Alrighty, so you can see my paint board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna write these down again. 9/16. The other one was 5/32. That was 3/8. And the last one was 1/2, right? So what's the common denominator that I need to change them all to look at them? What would be the common denominator?
Oh, yeah.
8.
Wouldn't it be 8?
Well, no, I mean, think of it this way. You got to look at the largest one, right? I mean, the largest denominator, 32. And I can convert all these to a 32 quite easily, right? I can
Okay.
this multiplied by 2, this multiplied by 4, this multiplied by 16. So that's
Right.
what I'm going to do, right?
Oh,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Yes, it does.
That's how I would do it. So you take that top one and you go 9/16. I know I can multiply that by 2/2. In other words, the numerator, I'm going to multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. It doesn't change the value of this thing at all because it's 2/2. But what it does, it allows me to get a denominator of 32. So the top's going to be 9 times 2, so that's going to be 18, right? Excuse me, the bottom is going to be 9 times 2, which is, or 16 times 2, which is 32, okay? So that's that one. The second one is already in. You're already in 30 seconds, so I'm just going to leave it, right? The third one, what am I going to have to do to this one
Oh,
to make it with a denominator of 32?
So you'd have to times it by 7 on the bottom. Is that right?
Not 7.
No,
No, what 8 times what makes 32?
I'm not sure about that because I don't
Well,
have my
it's
paper here.
okay. It's okay. It's 4. It's 4, right?
yeah.
8 times 4 is
Terrible at
32.
7 and 8.
Oh, okay. So we're going to multiply it by 4/4, right? Again, it doesn't change the fraction, but it allows me to have a denominator of 32. So my top numerator is going to be what?
12.
It's going to be 12, right? And my denominator is going to be 32,
32.
right? See how I do that? And what about the
Yep.
last one? What do I have to multiply the top and bottom by to get a denominator of 32?
Oh,
What do I need?
Let's see.
2 times what makes 32? That's the question.
16.
16, thank you. So it becomes 16 divided by 16, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right? So 1 times 16 is 16. Okay, now they all have a denominator of 32. Now I don't have to guess. Now, obviously, we know this is the lowest one. Is it lowest to highest? I can't remember what the problem was.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be the first one. The second one would be right down here, right? The third one would be right down here. And the biggest one would be right up there, right?
Okay.
And that's how you do that problem. And then convert them to whatever they were, the cutter,
Common denominator. Okay, that makes better sense.
That all makes
Yeah.
sense? Can everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's how you do that problem. Okay. So let me stop sharing
I
that.
could not figure out number 23 or 29.
Okay, well, let's look at it.
My brain
Amen. Yeah.
fried
That
by
took
doing
me a bit
that.
too.
Okay, let's check it out.
Okay.
Okay, 23 is on the next page, 259.
259, yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay, I'll get her. Share. 259. Share.
And for me, when I read this question and number 29,
Yep.
when I
Okay.
read this, I feel like we're missing a piece of the equation, and I know that we're not, and so I don't know how to get around that.
Okay, well, that's what we'll look at it. Okay,
Because in
number
both
20.
of you, I was like, wait, we're missing something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to look at 29 right now?
Let's do 23 first.
Okay, 23. Okay, a survey shows 2/3 of all homeowners have a pet. Of those, 3/4 have either a dog or a cat. Of the homeowners surveyed, what fraction has either a dog or a cat? So, okay, so of all the
See, my
homeowners,
mind went to, I don't know how many homeowners were surveyed, so I can't do this equation. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
but you just want the ratio. You don't care how many were surveyed.
Yeah, okay.
It's just the ratio, that's all. So
Oh.
2/3 own a pet. Of those, 3/4 have either a dog or a cat. So what would we do with that 3/4 fraction? What are we gonna do with it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I
Well,
can't, I draw a blank.
okay, well, let me show you on a whiteboard here. Stop sharing, share. No, it's good. You guys are bringing up good problems, and that's what we need to do. All these. I just have to find it. Just share. Okay, now we're good. Now we'll find paint. Okay. Can you see my paint screen? My
Yes.
okay. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff. New. Okay. I always have to write things out. It just helps me. It just helps me understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Get a different color here. So 2/3 of the homeowners have pets, right?
Yes.
Right. And we also know that 3/4 of all 3/4 of all homeowners having pets have dogs or cats, right? Isn't that what it says? Something like that?
Yeah.
So they want to know how many of all the, let me do this. Yeah, okay, so 3/4. So all you do is you take the 2/3 and multiply it by the 3/4.
Oh.
That's all you got to do. We're just multiplying. Because it says 3/4 of all the people who have pets. So does that make sense? So you just multiply the 2/3 times the 3/4.
Oh. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, that's all you're doing. So when you do that, you say 2 times 3 is 6. Excuse me, and the bottom 3 times 4 is 12. But we don't want to leave it like that. We want to have the smallest fraction we can get.
Be 1/2.
So exactly, you're going to divide the numerator and denominator by 6, and you're going to get 1/2, right?
Nice.
That's your answer.
Good.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does now.
Okay,
No,
well, that's why we're doing these. Okay, that's what
I
that
don't know
was.
why my brain just doesn't go there.
I
Yeah,
know,
you
right?
just, yeah, well, that's why we're doing them. The more
Okay.
you do, the more it'll make sense. So now we'll look at 29.
Yeah, so it's probably the same way because this one again, I felt like I was missing a chunk of the equation.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
look at it. Okay, we've got of his take-home pay each month, Jerry spends 1/6 on a car payment and 1/4 on food. 1/4 on food. What fraction of his take-home payment is left after paying for these two items? Well, okay, so do it like this. Again, I'll share. Stop sharing. Board. My paint board. This particular one, you've got 1/6 on something. What is it? 1/6 on.
1/4.
Yeah, but what 1/6 was for what? Food or what?
His car payment,
Oh, okay.
or yeah, car payment.
And the 1/4 is
on
Food.
Food, okay. And so the question is, what's left over, right? Isn't that what
Yeah,
you're asking?
yeah.
So you have to take, so it really, the big scheme of things, it's gonna be like this, 1
No.
minus these two values, right? 1/6 plus 1/4. That's really what you're doing, right? So we have to combine 1/6 and 1/4. We have to have a common denominator to do that, right?
Right.
That's what we were taught. So what's the common denominator for a 6 and a 4th? What do you think it would be?
12,
What did you say?
12.
12, exactly. It would be a 12 because 6 times 2 would be 12, 4 times 3 would be 12. So we're going to convert both to 12s. So I'll just do it up here. So 1/6 is equal to 1/6 times 2 over 2, like that. So I get 1 times 2 on top, 6 times 2 on bottom, so I get 2 12s, right? And I do the same thing with the 1/4. 1/4, I'm going to multiply it, like someone said, 3. 3 on top, 3 on bottom. 1 times 3 is 3. Bottom is 4 times 3 is 12. So now I've got them, right?
Yep.
So now it becomes easy. Now it becomes 1 minus 2 12s plus 3 12s, right? Looks like that, right? So now I can add the 2 and 3 together, and I get 1 minus 5 12s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we okay so far?
Yep.
Now the last step is you have to convert this 1 to 12 12s, right? So then I can subtract this from that numerator.
Oh, okay, got
So it
it.
would look
Yeah.
like this. It would be 12 over 12 minus 5 over 12, right?
Yeah.
And to
Okay.
make it, yeah, and to make it even simpler, oh, this should be a minus here, sorry. Yeah, like that. And this would be, equal to 12 minus 5. Yeah. I'm running out of room. Divided by 12, which is equal to 7. 7 12, right?
Yep.
So in the grand scheme of things, that's the whole problem right there, right?
Oh,
1
okay.
minus 2 12s minus 3 12s, 1 minus 5 12s, which is equal to 12 12s minus 5 12s, which is equal to 12 minus 5, which is equal to 7 12s. Boom, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yay.
that makes sense? Raisha,
Yes.
is that okay?
Yeah, it makes sense to me once I know what formula to use. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
for some reason, when I read both of those,
Uh-huh.
even knowing going in, I'm like, okay, well, how did I figure out that I needed to times 1, and how do I figure
Yeah.
out that I need to add
Yeah.
1? That's where my brain, I cannot get that to click.
Right. Well, that's why we're doing these.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so yeah, I should probably.
just get and to strengthen your confidence, go back and look at these a couple times.
Okay,
That's what I would do. I would say, well, how did I do this? Well,
right.
you write this all down. I did it like this. Well, the next time you have a problem like that, just look and see what you did, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So we good on the homework? Any other questions on the homework?
No.
Not for
Okay.
me.
Okay. Kathy, are you okay in this stuff?
Yeah, I'm getting it little by little. I'll
Okay.
keep going over it.
Okay, please do. I don't, I just want to make it as easy as I can for you. But I would hope that by putting it out like this, it would make sense. I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
So write it all down, and if you still have a problem, let me know, okay? I'd be glad to help you, okay? Because I want everybody to get this stuff, okay? That's the bottom line. If you don't get it, I haven't done my job, okay? It's really that simple. You have to get it, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go into the lecture, okay? So here, go back here, go to week 2.
Here. There we go.
Okay, so now we're chapter 3, lesson 1, page 260. Which I get it. Okay, ratios, proportions, and percents, okay? And they go through this stuff pretty fast. So there's There's a lot of takeaways here to understand. First thing is talking about ratios. A softball pitcher strikes out 4 batters for every 1 batter that she walks. What's the ratio of strikeouts to walks? You can write this ratio as 3 different ways. That's why I'm showing it to you like this. It's either 4-1 or 4:1 or 4/1. They all mean the same thing. Okay. They all mean the same thing. Example 2, Frank manages a small drugstore. During a 2-hour period, he counts 25 cash sales and 15 credit sales. What's the ratio of credit card to cash sales? Well, you just put it like this. Put credit, just write it right out. Credit card sales to cash sales, 15 over 25. But what we want to reduce this thing to a lowest common denominator. So you look at the 15 and you look at the 25, you can always divide by 5 if you have 5 on the end. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, 25 divided by 5 is 5. So the ratio is 3-5, 3:5, or 3/5. Okay? Questions on that? Always put it in the lowest common form. So you have to do factoring. You find out what the common factor is and divide it and then reduce that fraction down. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
That's what you do in all these, okay? Let's look at number 3. To write a ratio, you may need to perform one or some basic operations before you can do that. A football team wins 12 games and lost 8. That's a lot of games in a season. But anyway,
Yeah, especially
my
that.
first comment. So there were no tied games. What's the ratio of games won to games played? So in this particular, you got to figure out what the games played is, right? So it's 12 plus 8 is 20. So you're doing additions first. Then you want to find the ratio of games won to games played. So it becomes 12 over 20. But you don't want to leave it there. You want to reduce it to the lowest common denominator or lowest common fraction, the smallest fraction. This particular case, you divide the numerator and denominator by 4 to get 3/5. Okay.
Okay.
So it would either be 3-5, 3:5, or 3/5. It all means the same thing. Okay. Questions on that? Okay. Some of this stuff, this book goes through it very quickly. Other books, it may take 10 pages to go over this stuff. So I'm just saying, you've just got to get it. Okay. That's why you do the homework, to reinforce it. There's not a lot of fluff here. Okay. Okay. So we'll stop sharing that. We'll go on to the next page. Which in some cases is good, other cases it's not. So it's what we got to work with. Okay, next page. See, we're right in the practice problems right now. So that's the part, that's the lecture in that first page. Everything else is just problem. So yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes, right?
Yep.
So you're tasked with doing 2, 5, 9, 13, 11, and 13. That's what I think I tasked you with. But let's do a couple of them that aren't those. Okay. Let's look at number 1. Stan made 24 sales in 6 hours. What's the ratio of sales to hours?
How do you divide it?
You divide it, right? So it's 24 sales divided by 6, right? And so, I mean, paint here.
8.
You see my paint?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna
Now I
get rid
do.
of that. Okay. Okay, this one, it was 24 sales. I'm using black now. Sales, and it's 6 hours, right? You want to know the ratio of sales to hours. So just write it, put it right out. Put sales divided by hours. Do it like that. Well, what's the sales? It's 24. The hours is 6. So you could say 24 to 6, but we're going to reduce this down. What's 6 into 24?
4.
4. So it's 4-1. So you'd write this 3 different ways. What's one way you could write it? One's going to be 4 to
4 to
1,
1 or 4 the
4
what's-
colon 1,
colon
or
1.
4 over 1, right? That should be over 1. Those are the 3 ways you could write it, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's how you do that problem. Okay, stop sharing. We'll want to look at a couple others.
Are they always going to be dividing?
Say again?
Are they always going to be dividing once you figure out the number that you're
Oh,
working?
yeah, just by the definition of ratio, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
they're always going to be dividing, yes.
The ratio is always dividing. It's just
Exactly.
getting
Good
what you.
question. Yep, it's always dividing, yep. Let's look at another one. What about number 4? At Phil's work, there's 12 part-time workers and 18 full-time workers. What's the ratio of part-time to total workers? So how do we do that? 12 part-time, PT, 18 total. So you would do this, right? I'm gonna go to my paint screen again. Change the color. Like it. So here you've got 12 part-time, and you've got 18 full-time. And you want to know the ratio of what, part-time to total? Is that what it was? I can't remember.
Yes.
So you have to figure out what total is, right? So first thing you do is put total is equal to 12 plus 18, right? So there's 30 workers, right? So now if you want part-time to total, again, write it out. I do it like that. And I put what, well, part-time is 12 and total is 30, right? So that's my ratio, but I want to convert it. I want to get it to the lowest common denominator. In other words, the smallest fraction. What would be what's the common denominator for both of those?
6.
A hint. 6 would be a good one. Yes, it would be 6. Yep. So I would say 12 over 30. And I can multiply this by 6 over, or excuse me, divide by 6. I'm going to divide both of these by, yeah. We're going to take the numerator, which is 12, divided by 6. Again, it's hard to annotate this, but this is what you would do. Divided by the 30 on the bottom. And so it'd be 30 divided by 6, right? So 12 divided by 6 is 2. 30 divided by 6 is 5, right?
Yes.
That makes sense? So the ratio means, so you can write this 3 different ways. You could say 2, 2, 5, 2 colon 5, or 2 over 5, okay? Those are 3 ways you could write that. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's all you
Yes.
got to do. Okay. All righty. So stop sharing that. Let's see if there's anything else on here we want to look at. Some of these require you to use tables, you know, some data and so forth. Like look at number 10. What's the ratio of mesas, whatever, supporters to Stothard's supporters? Okay. Well, here's the number of supporters. Messes is 180 and Stothard is 220. So, and then it puts it in colon form, reduced down. So you got 180 over 220. So what's that going to reduce down to? Again, this is where you got to use factoring, right? So you got to, again, we're building upon math, what we've learned, okay? So, red. So it's 180 divided by 220. Well, we know if it ends in, if they both end in 0, you can divide the numerator and denominator by 10. Okay, that's one thing you can do. So let's start out there. So I'm going to take 180, my numerator, and I'm going to divide that by 10. And I'm going to take my 220, and I'm going to divide that by 10. And when I do that, what do I get?
18 over 22?
Yep. Okay, 18 over 22, but I'm not done yet. These
No.
both end in even numbers, right? So I can
Yes.
always divide by 2. Okay, just remember those little rules. It really helps you. So what's 18 divided by 2?
9,
9. And what's 22 divided by 2?
11.
Perfect. So that's your answer. So I think they put it in terms of like this, right? Is that right? I don't know. What's,
I was, yeah, 9:11.
okay, so that would be it. That would be the right one. Just a minute. Share back to here. It'd be right, it would be A, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you do those, okay? So you have a few to do. So I'm going to stop sharing and go on to the next page, which is 262. Sharing, share, 262. Share. Okay, here's 262. Oh yeah, proportions. Okay, okay, a proportion is an equation that shows where two ratios are equal. Something's equal to something else, okay? And they got this cross product rule to help you determine that. And we can certainly use that, but I want you to understand why you can use that. Okay. So the first one there, okay, the directions on the can, a powdered drink says you can add 3 cups of water to every 2 scoops of milk drink. Matt adds 12 cups of water to 8 scoops of drink. Did he make the drink correctly? So we got cups to scoops. Okay, I can say that. Just a minute. Yeah, 3 over 2. Okay. So let's stop sharing this. Let me see. It's cups to scoops. Cups to scoops. I want to write this out for you. Bingo. Okay, this particular one, we've got cups, the scoops, right?
Yes.
And the rest of the question is, um, 3, is it 3 over, what is the first number? Is it 2 over 3 or 3 over 2? 2 over 2. It's 3 over 2. Okay. So 3 over 2, is that equal to 12 over 8, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they're asking is that, and what they're saying is use the cross product to determine it. Multiply this 3 by this 8 and see if that's equal to 2 times 12.
Okay.
You have to understand why you can do this. Do you understand? If I don't know what I can share. Let me
So
let me-
no matter, I mean, a proportion, you're always gonna be able to, if you cross it, times it like that, and it doesn't equal the same number, then you've done it
Yeah.
wrong. Is that what they're saying?
then you know it's not a proportion.
Not a
Exactly.
proportion.
That's
Okay.
exactly right. You know it. You didn't get it wrong. You determined it wasn't a proportion,
Okay.
right? So think of it that way. So why can't I do this? Oh, is that just plugged in? Yeah. 3 over, I'm putting the 2 down like that. I'll show you why. 12 over 8. If I want to multiply the 2 over here, it's the same thing as, change the color. It's the same thing as saying 2 times on that side and 2 on that side, right?
Mhm.
That cancels that out. So I can essentially say I can move this 2 right over up here, and the 2 goes away over here. It goes away because it cancels it out, right? I can do the same thing with this 8. I don't want 8 on the bottom. I want 8 over there. So I can say, now I can multiply both sides by 8, right? That's a lousy 8, but that 8 goes away. Now I've got 8 on top. So what have I done? I end up with 8 times 3 is equal to 12 times 2, right? I'm able to do that. I'm able to move this 2 right over here and this 8 right over top here, right? But I can do it because I'm essentially balancing both sides.
Mhm.
People see that? And so then this, of course, is equal to 24, which is equal to 24. So it checks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it, I'm cross multiplying, but algebra allows me to do that, is what I'm trying to say. And when we get into more of this stuff, I want you to understand the algebra part of it. It's really important to understand why you're able to do that, because you're going to use that in working with equations and so forth. So that's what you do. You cross multiply, you see whether it balances. If it is, it means that this is equal. That means that 3/2 is equal to 12 over 8, right?
Yes.
Just by multiplying the 8 times the 3 and the 2 times the 12. And that's what we've done. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. And when you see more of these, you'll see what I mean. That's what that's all about there. Let's look at example 5. Okay, a map scale says 2 inches is equal to 150 miles, right? What actual distance would a map distance of 5 inches represent? Well, in this one, you put 2 inches over 150 right here, which is equal to 5 inches over x, right? We don't know how many miles. We have to solve for miles, right?
Mhm.
That makes sense. So now let me go back to my whiteboard here. Okay. Now we go to the whiteboard and I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we said that 2 inches ratio was 2 inches to 150 miles. That's what this map allows you to do, is equal to 5, right? 5 inches to x, right? We don't know what x is. How many miles is x? Right? It's a practical problem. If you're looking at a map and the scale, and if it was if something was 5 inches long, you'd want to know what that total distance was. This is how you would set it up. Okay. So to make it simpler, it gets like 2 over 150 is equal to 5 over x, right? Now we're going to solve for x. Same idea. We're going to have to multiply both sides. I'll put this in notation form. Let's see here. Come on, just a minute, sorry. Bear with me. So it's 2 over 150 is equal to 5 over x. I want to solve for x. I want x to be on the top. How do I get x on the top? I have to have it on by itself on one side. So I can multiply both sides by x, right? That's an x. That's right. Lousy x. Times an x over here, right? When I do that, that goes away. Now I've got x on this side, right? So now I've got 2 over 150 x is equal to 5, right? All I've done is I've multiplied, I cross multiplied with the x. I put the x on top here, right? I got rid of the x on that side. Now I want to get rid of this 2 over 50 because I want to solve for x. How do I do that? I have to multiply both sides by 150 over 2, right? Because when I do that, that cancels that out, that cancels that out. If I go 150 over 2, I have to do it on this side too, right? To balance it out. So my new formula looks like this. X is equal to 5 times 150 over 2. Now, make it a little cleaner here by writing it like this. X is equal to 5 times 150 over 2, right? Does that make sense what I've done? I'm just solving for x. I want to solve for x, so x has to be on top, has to be by itself. So now I've got 5 times 15, that's 65 divided by 2. So it's 32.5. So it's 330, 325, I think. Did math right. Okay. Is everybody with me on that?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
Murray,
thanks.
I
thanks
thought
for
it would
being-
be 375.
Yeah, I think I'm right. I think you're right. It's not 325. It is 375 because it's two and a half times 15 times 150. It's 375 exactly. But
Can I
okay,
tell you, can I tell you though how my mind works? My mind
Sure.
works like, okay, 2 inches equal 150 miles.
uh-huh.
There's 5 inches altogether that represent it. So my mind goes, if you take 2 inches and 2 inches, that's going to be 300 miles.
Yeah.
And half of 1 inch is 75.
And that's fine. Okay. I mean that Kathy, you get the right answer. That's
I
fine.
do, but my problem is I can't work the problem like you do, even though I get the same answer.
Well, I mean, you're exactly, you can use your logic to do what you did, but if I had a complicated problem, like if I said 3.5 inches is equal to 150 and I had, 8.2 inches is equal to X, you couldn't very well do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
You'd have to do the math like I've got it here.
right, yeah.
So somehow you just have to learn this. I mean, that's one, you just have to, I think the more you do these, the easier it comes, I would hope. Does anyone else have that same kind of issue? I understand what you're saying, Kathy. I really do. I'm not. Does anyone else have that same problem?
No.
No. Okay, well, we gotta.
No, I just,
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, but maybe after I do another one, I'll understand it.
Okay.
They don't, why are they not doing it that way in the book? I mean, because ultimately what you're wanting us to do is do it
Yeah.
this way because,
Well, that's a fair question. The reason is I want you to do it the way a mathematician would do it, because you're
Right.
gonna, because you can, it's simple on some of these simple little ones, you can just say, well, add a 1/2 and do this and this, but you can't, if it was 3.2 and it was weird numbers, you could never figure it out. Well, I want you to be able to understand how to figure it out. Okay.
okay.
That's why it's important. That's why some of this stuff in this book, I'm going to ignore because you don't use this in math going forward. Some of this. Yeah,
Got it.
I'm preparing you to take math 60, math 98, some of the more advanced math classes. And so I want you to understand how to do this right, do it right, not simple little rules. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get in your head. So it just,
The repetition.
the repetition is so important. That's the way you
Yep.
learn everything.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at another one, okay? Okay. Now, I know what you're saying. I'm not. Let's just go on to the next page because I'm going to go on to the next page. 263. Stop sharing. 263.
Yeah, because these ones use like what you're saying.
The
Yeah, you
decimal.
have to.
Yeah.
I want you to learn it. Not. That's Anyway. I want you to be able to be successful in doing math going forward, not, anyway. So, I mean, look at some of these. These aren't solved for the missing term. See, some of these where the X is on the bottom, you have to do just what I did, right? So you have to understand how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kathy, I don't think you could look at this one and figure it out in your head, right? Number 2. You know what I mean? I want you to know how to tackle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at number 2. 3/5 is equal to 27 over X. We're solving for X. So I'm going to go to the whiteboard. my paint board. No, right here. And we're gonna get a new screen. Okay, because this particular one, we've got, write it down. Oh, 3/5, okay. 3/5 is equal to 27 over x. Okay, so and I want to solve for x. Well, first thing I got to get x on top. I don't want to solve for 1 over x. I want to solve for x. How do I get x on top? I have to take both of these. Both
Yep,
of these.
cross multiply.
And cross multiply, yeah. In doing so, I get that x on the right, on the left-hand side is equal to 27.
So would X be 9?
Just a minute. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm just trying to do I'm just trying to follow my numbers here. But first, I just want to show you. So all I've done in this little formula here, I've taken this, I've multiplied x on both sides, right? This x and this x cross out because this one's on the bottom, this is on top. So now on the left-hand side, I've got 3 over 5 times x, right? That's equal to 27. Do you see how I did that? I went
Yeah.
from this to this, just by moving the x over in this side, but I just showed you how I did it. So now it becomes 3/5 times x is equal to 27. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
everyone's in agreement on that? So
No,
now I'm not done.
No.
Now- Well, now but I need x. I want to get x, right?
why even bother moving the X around? I guess if we don't even know what it is, that's my
Well,
whole question.
no, we're solving for it, Raisha. No, that's a good
Okay.
question.
But I mean, why bother building the water up top if you don't even know what it is?
No, we are going to solve for x, right? I want to know what x is, okay?
Okay.
I don't want
Yeah.
to know what this thing over here on the bottom. I want to know what x is. The only way I
Okay.
can do that is put x on top. I put x on top by multiplying both sides by x. Cross multiply, as they say. So I put x over here. So now I've got x on the left-hand side, right? But I got to get it by itself. So that means I have to multiply 5/3 on both sides to get rid of this. Or cross multiply. That's really what you're doing,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So then this thing becomes x is equal to 27 times 5 over 3. Does that make sense? I just moved
Yep.
the 3/5 to the right-hand side by cross multiplying. Right? I mean, I could have put it over here to show you. 3/5. I'm going to multiply 3/5 by 5/3 on the left-hand side, and that's equal to 27 times 5/3. See that? Because this, oh, okay, because, come on, yeah. What am I saying? Because what I did is I put this on both sides, right? When I do that, it's still balanced, but it allows me to because this 3 will cancel this 3 out, this 5 will cancel that 5 out. So I end up with x by itself. That's what I was trying to do, okay? I did it by multiplying by 5 over 3 on both sides. So then I got here, it's right down here. Now I've got x equal to 27 times 5 over 3. Kathy, does that make sense?
Of course not. I'm
Me
sorry.
too. I was like, I'm so lost. I
You're
don't
still
know why.
lost too?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Um,
Well, where did you get lost? First of all,
after the equation is written
okay,
out.
here's the beginning. Here's the first, this is given, right? 3/5 is equal to 27 over x. I
I
want to
guess
solve for,
maybe it's because of the way that it's written that I'm not you know, because I stack it. Like I
Yeah.
go 3/5, not 3/5. And I don't know if that is messing my brain up. I don't know.
Well, 3
Just
over
not
5 is the same thing as 3/5, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same thing. If I was writing this on a board, that's why it's a little cumbersome.
Yeah.
For me to show you, even makes it harder. Because really what we're saying is, do a color here. This is 3 over 5 is
Right.
equal to 27 over x, right?
Yeah.
We want to solve for x. I got to get x by itself on top and everything else on the other side. So that's
this is
all
my
I'm doing.
question.
So
Why do we have to get the x by itself on top?
because that's what we're solving for.
That's the only way we can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can just I mean, you
Yeah,
can
that's
just
what I do.
cross
I
multiply
cross
at this point. You can put
multiply.
x over here, put the 3 over there, put the 5 over there.
Mhm.
And that's what you're doing right here.
Yep.
I'm just sort of showing mathematically how you do it, but it's
But we don't
important to
want to
understand.
do it that way because when we get decimal points and stuff, it doesn't work. Is that right? Is that what you were saying?
No, I'm just saying, well, when you get to Kathy's point, it doesn't work when you've got, yeah, decimal points or things that were, weird numbers that aren't simple factors. It doesn't work. So
Right.
you have to, you should be able to, from here, you can cross multiply, right? You
Yeah.
want to cross multiply. If you did that, you'd say, oh, it's going to be, or just move the stuff on the bottom to the stuff on the top. It's going to be 5 times, and I just moved the x over there and I moved the 5 over there. But now I have to move I want to get x by itself. So now I divide by 3,
By 3 on both.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does that make sense?
No.
No?
I'm sorry.
Well,
None of it makes
It,
sense.
it
This is where I get lost. I just don't.
no, well, I don't want you guys
isn't
to get
it.
lost.
When you have the 3x, you have to divide it by 3 on both sides. So then it's 5
Mhm, yeah.
times 27 divided by 3.
Yep. Exactly
Because you
right.
divide that, that means x equals the next part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This ends up being your answer right there.
Yeah. And then you just
Mhm.
follow the order of operations.
Yeah, and at this point now you just factor. 3 into 27 goes 9. 9 times 5 is 45. The answer is going to be 45.
Yep.
That's all. So I guess, I mean, for
But yeah,
you,
like Emily just said, wouldn't it be easier just to cross multiply?
yeah, okay, it is easier. And cross multiply. Go ahead. Please
Yeah.
cross multiply. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I would just go 5 times 27, and that would be the top number.
and divide it by 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
You
5.
can go ahead and cross multiply. I just want to make sure when you get to, I guess, more cumbersome equations, you can't cross multiply
Yeah, like
everything.
the decimals and stuff, right?
Yeah, the
Right.
decimals and stuff doesn't work too
So
well.
can we do a decimal one then?
Well, let's see what we got. Let me stop sharing this.
So x equal is 5 on this one. Is that right?
45.
45.
Okay.
Just a minute. Okay, so can you see the practice set again?
Yeah.
Okay, look at number 14. 9 over $80.10 is equal to x over $284.80. Good grief,
15.
Now we can take that and cross multiply. Let's do that.
Mhm.
I don't want. Okay, so it's 9 over 80.1 is equal to x over 284.8. Okay, so we're looking at number 14. So I'm going to stop sharing and go to the board here. Go to this guy right here. Yeah, I don't want to confuse you guys, and I think I'm going the wrong track here. So we've got 9 divided by, and I'll just, well, put the dollar signs in to start out with, I guess, 80.1. That's equal to X over 280, 284.80, right? Like that. Okay, and you're asked to solve for X, right? Okay, well, in this particular one, we don't want to cross multiply the X. We don't want X to go down here. We want X to stay where it is. All we want to do is get rid of this 280 and move it over to the left-hand side, right? Because we want to solve for X, right? I want to know what X is. I've got X right here. So the way you would do that is you would take, see if I can do it with my scroll here. Darn it. Okay. Oh man, this is so sloppy, sorry. You're going to multiply it by 284, and you do the same thing over here. And by doing so, this is on the bottom, that cancels out. So you're you're putting the 284 on top over here.
So I'm going X times 284.80, right?
Well,
Is that
well, yeah, but you're going to leave X by itself on this side, right?
right?
Yeah.
And
So
then on
X,
the other side, I'm going 284.80 times 9
yes, divided by 80.1, exactly. Yep.
times 284.
So I'm going to just flip it around and say it's 284.1 times 9 divided by 80.1, right?
Yes.
And that's what, and so this becomes the problem. 284.1 divided by 80.1 times 9.
Wait, now why did you do 0.1 on the 284?
My bad. It should be 280. 84.8. My bad.
Okay,
Sorry.
I just was wondering if I missed if that
Yep,
made it
no.
easier to solve. Okay.
No. So can everyone see that is everyone happy with that? X is equal to 284.8 times 9 divided by 80.1.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I'm following you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everyone else following me?
Yep.
Kathy? You got to follow, okay, somehow. Okay.
I'm following you now. I just don't know if I can do it on my own. So
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So somebody tell me what that's equal to.
32,
Is that the answer?
isn't it?
I don't know. Honestly, it's
That's what okay, so we're going
okay.
284.80.
I believe you.
times
I'm not. Okay.
Is that right? Times 9?
Yep.
Okay, which is
Mhm.
256.3 or 2563.20.
So it's 32.04, something like that.
So then I got 256.
Oh no, 80.1. I didn't do it right. I'll take your number. You got 32?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. Perfect. Then that's it.
equals 32.
Okay. Another way of writing that, if you would have had 9 over 80.1 is equal to 32 over 284.8, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that, so this thing is balanced. So 9 divided by 80.1 is the same thing as 32 divided by 284.8. We were solving for this 32, this X here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That all makes sense now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one reason why you can't do this in your head,
Mhm.
you have to solve for the X in this case, and you don't you're not cross multiplying both sides, because if you did, X would be on the bottom. And you don't want X on the bottom, right? You just want to get X by itself on top. Okay,
Okay,
that makes sense? I mean, that's what you're solving for in that.
right.
Okay. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I want you to get it. It's important. Okay, sec here.
So maybe we should do one with X on the bottom because X has to be moved to the top,
Yeah.
or it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
but
where.
that's what I mean, yes, that's what I did originally, but here, look at, well, look at number 16, 24 over 69,
96.
or 96, excuse me, yeah, wrong number. 24 over 96 is equal to 7 over X. Okay, this is one where you would cross multiply to start out with, so I'm
Why
gonna
would I cross multiply? Just because the X is on the bottom?
yes, because I want to get X on the top, exactly.
Okay.
Yep, so it looks like this. So
So
make
we
this,
would go 96 times 7 divided by 24. Is that correct?
I don't know yet, just a minute. 7, is that what it is? 24 over 96 equal to 7 over X? Yeah, you'd say,
See,
you'd say
20
24 times X,
X.
right,
Mhm.
is equal to 7 times
Times.
96, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. That's exactly what you do. And then, well, then you have to do one more thing. You want to
Divide by
put the X,
24.
the 24 down below, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have X is equal to 7 times 96 divided by 24. And we know 24 into 96 is 4. 4 times 7 is 20. So the answer is going to be 28,
Yes.
right? That makes sense?
Yeah.
In this case, we cross multiplied with, because I wanted the X on top. Okay, but I want to get X by itself, so you got to end up, you've got to get that 24, you got to divide both sides by 24. You end up with,
Is it wrong to look at these equations and think to myself, if X wasn't there and I just needed to figure out what needed to be in X's place, like if it
yeah,
was
of
just
course,
blank,
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that'd be
yeah.
fine, sure.
X just screws everything up.
Well, no,
I'm like, I don't want to move them around. I just want to figure out what
well,
needs to be there.
well,
Yeah.
Ratio, you better get used to it, because X is going to be involved with everything going forward, okay?
Oh, yeah. And then there's going to be a Y too.
There's going to be a Y, exactly. And then there's going to be an X squared, then there's going to be a Y squared.
Mhm.
Then it's going to be X to the -1. It's going to get complicated, okay?
I mean, when I look at that, that's where I go. I'm like, okay, well, I just
Yeah.
need to figure out what needs to be in X's place.
Well, I think you need to understand what the X and Y functions are, and you'll hopefully by the end of this course, you'll have a better understanding of that, okay?
Okay.
And then you won't be fighting it so much, okay? So,
Yeah, I know. When I do this with Gannon, that's why
I
Colleague tries
know.
to explain to me. I'm like, well, I don't understand why you just don't like it's just blank. Just fill it in.
Don't let it, yeah, no, but that's what, yeah, that's that's why it's X, so it's a variable, so it can be many, many numbers, and when we get to looking at linear equations, you'll understand that better, but right now, one thing at a
Yeah, I
time.
remember when I was a kid in school and I learned what that was, I would like go home and make my own problems
Yeah,
because it fascinated me.
well, good. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly. X is just a variable.
Yep.
That's all it is. It can be anything, but but when you put it into an equation with an equal sign, it has one value.
Right.
It's equal to something. It's only thing that makes that equation balanced, right?
Right.
So and in life, that's what the problems you're solving for what that number is to make it balanced.
So I guess my other question then too would be in what I'm looking at on this paper,
Mm-hmm.
Questions 1 through 16. Why does it matter if the X is on the top or the bottom? Or does it?
It doesn't. It's just depending on, no, it doesn't. I mean, it depends on how it's written. That's all. I mean, there's
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I was
no, there's
looking
nothing
at
magic about it. It's not a different X. It's just an
Okay.
X that's in the numerator and one's in the denominator. That's all.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was thinking that
Nope.
correctly.
Nope, you are.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go on to the next page because we spent quite a bit of time on this one. But let's see what we got going here. Some of this stuff is it goes pretty quick, but others don't. Okay. See what this one is. Oh yeah, now we're into percents. The definition of a percent is it's like anything divided by 100. Okay. It's taking a decimal form, multiplying it by 100, and calling it percent. So look at this. Look at the percent to fraction. Let's start out with a fraction. 1/4 is the same thing as 25 over 100. 25 over 100 is equal to 25%. Because we took that 25 over 100 and we multiplied it by 100 to get 25%. Does that make any sense at all? It's just out of 100. Okay, it's anything out of 100. Let's look at example 1. At a restaurant, Janice bill is $20. She gives the waiter a tip of $3, which is 15% of her bill. Identify the base, part, and rate of this situation. Okay, so what we're learning here is that part over base is equal to percent. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to share. Here's a takeaway formula that you should know. In fact, it'll be on the quiz. Okay, just telling you. So, because I've already made up the quiz for Monday. So percent divided by 100 is the same thing as a part divided by base, where base is the whole. You're going to use this formula to solve all these percent problems. You might be given the percent, you might be given the part, but not the base. You might be giving the part and the base, but not the percent. You might be given the base and percent, but not the part, and you're solving for the other, the variable that you don't know. Okay, so this formula becomes really important. Percent divided by 100 is equal to part divided by base. Okay, so hold that thought. Stop sharing. Okay, here's example 2. A plant that manufactures light fixtures is expected that about 2% of the fixtures assembled each day will have some type of defect. If 900 fixtures are completed one day, how many are expected to be defective? Use this formula. Part over base is equal to rate over 100. Rate meaning percent, okay? In this particular case, you have X parts out of the 900 has to equal to 2% because that was the defect rate over 100. And you're just solving for X. So you can cross multiply. You can take that 900, put it up over here and solve for X. And when you do that, I don't know why I don't like the way they do this. X is going to be equal to 900 times 2 divided by 100. It's going to be, you're going to get 18 is the answer. Does that make sense, or do you want me to show that on a thing here? I'm going to show it. Okay, right here. So in this particular case, we know the defect rate is equal to 2%. It gives you that, right? We know they make 900 in a day. And we know, so we want to know how many defective parts are going to be in a day. So go back to this thing. So what we're doing is we're solving for this P right up here. So this thing becomes 2%, 2 divided by 100. That's the percent divided by this, the rate divided by 100 is equal to part, which is X in this case, divided by the base of 900. And so we're just solving for X. So it becomes X. I'm just going to take the 900, move it on top. It's going to be 900 times 2 divided by 100. And that's going to be 18. So it's 18 defective parts. Okay. What I did, I used this formula right up here, right? So make sure you circle that so you know what it is. I mean, and know how to use it. Okay, this little guy right here. And depending on this on the story problem, X may be the base, it may be the part, or it may be the percent, but you're solving for whatever you're given the two other parts. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all this, that's what this is all about. Okay.
Repetition.
Yeah, it's repetition. Just that's the way you learn. It's just like learning a language, right?
Yep.
Really is. Okay. Because I was never good at learning languages, so I struggle.
Yeah.
That's why I like numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're easier for me anyway. Okay, so okay, here's the practice ones. The yellow ones are the ones that are you have to do or you should do. Again, it's using this formula right down here. That's how you solve all these. So let's just take one. Okay. Look at number 6. I have to write it down so I can. She bought a dress for $38. She paid $3.23% sales tax. The sales tax is, oh, this, all we're trying to do is determine on these ones, what is the base rate and part. So look at number 6. What do you think the base is on this story problem?
38.
It's 38, exactly. And what would the part be?
Would be 323.
Yep. And then somebody else, what would the rate be? What's the rate? It's the only thing left, right?
8.5.
8.5. That 8.5% is the rate. Look at another one, like number 8. Harrison got a 10% raise. Before the raise, his hourly rate was $10.70. Excuse me, now he earns additional $1.07 per hour.
10.70
So,
base.
so what's the base?
10.70.
Yeah, 10.70. And what's the rate?
It's 10%.
10%. And somebody else, give me what's the part?
107.
107. Okay, that's how you do all these. Okay, now you go ahead and use this formula to mathematically solve for the missing part, right? That's what we're doing down here.
So can we do number 12?
Sure. What percent of its games did Bravo win? Okay, where's Bravo? Oh, Bravo's right here. Okay, he wins 6 games and he loses 6. So what percent of the games did he win? So this would be, the rate would be that's what you're solving for, right?
Which one are we? What number is
Number
this?
12, number 12,
12? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
right? What percent of the games did Bravo win? And you look at this chart here, he won 6 and he lost 6.
50%.
So it's
Yeah, I mean, that was
50%.
kind of dumb. That was a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. That's an easy one. It's just 6 over 12 is equal to 50%, right?
Where's the X in this equation?
Well, well, that's a good, the X is the percent.
Yeah.
It fooled
Well,
you. You didn't even know it was the X, but it's the
I
X.
know.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. So you get to do number 11 and number 13. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Use this little thing right here. That's important to understand how to use that. Okay. We can go on to the next page. Sorry, we're going so long here, but this, anyway, I think it's necessary.
Yeah. We might need another day on this. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with you.
We're
Well,
gonna grab Mr. Tilson to drink.
No, it's okay. I have a lot of patience. Okay. A lot of patience. You have to have patience to do this job, let me tell you.
yeah, to be any kind of a teacher, which I don't have.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, my
Okay.
ex-husband taught my kid how to do stuff.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Okay, lesson 3. We're using percent formula. Now, my pet peeve is I don't like these little boxes, these fancy little ways of doing things. This isn't math, okay? This is just rote learning. All you need to do is use the part base thing. That's all it is. Every one of these things to solve for the unknown, okay? So forget this. Just forget that. Don't learn it that way. I don't want you to do that. In fact, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to go to the next page. I just don't like those, okay? Next page. And we'll stop learning and we'll start. Okay, next page looks like this, and lo and behold, it's some problems, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. Okay, the good news is you can use a calculator, okay? So you may use a calculator for questions 9 through 16. Okay, well, these are easy, okay. Solve, find 90% of 200. Again, this is all back to this formula where you've got rate over 100 is equal to part over base, which is like total, okay? So find 90% of 200. So in that particular one, what would the X be? Or let me rewrite it. Okay, right here. Okay. So you're to find 90% of 200. Well, in this particular case, you know what the rate is. It's 90%, right? It gives it to you. And so you'd say that 90% divided by 100, because that's part of that formula, is equal to the part, and the part is what you're solving for, right? Part over 200. You're solving for that part, or in this case, I'd call it X.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you just use your algebra, get part by itself. So what do I have to do to both sides of this equation to do that? What I got to do? I got to move 200 to the left-hand side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just cross multiply. So on the left-hand side, it's going to be like 200, and it's still going to be times 90 divided by 100, right? And what do I have left on the right-hand side? I have part, or X. Just call it X, right? And I'm solving for X. So it's just going to be 90, right? Or 180, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to take the 100 divided into 200, get 2 times 90 is 180. So in this particular case, X is equal to 180, or the part is equal to 180.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
That's how you do those. Forget it. Forget the stuff on the previous page. Don't do it that way, please. Okay. Let's look at number 11. $52 is what percent of 650? So set that up. What's that gonna look like?
650 would be your base, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
Okay.
yep. So I'm
And
gonna,
your part is 52, is that right?
yep, yep. You're getting it. Exactly right.
And then we have
So
the
we
100 already. We
And
know
so,
that.
and so the unknown is the rate, right? You want to know what that rate is.
Okay.
So it's rate or percent divided by 100 is equal to the part is 52, like you said. The base is 650, right?
Yes.
And and then just all you do in this particular, you're solving for the rate, right? So rate is just going to be equal to, you're going to move 100 to the right-hand side, right, on top,
Right.
right? Times 52 divided by 650, whatever that is.
The answer is 8.
Is 8?
I believe so.
Okay, I believe you. I'm not. So it's 8%. So the rate is 8% then, right?
Yes.
That's how you do these. Just know that you can move these things around, right? And that's what I was trying to teach you for solving for the base, for solving for the part, for solving for the percent. You
Mhm.
move them around till you get it isolated on one side, and that becomes your answer. Right?
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Kathy, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, I thought the 8% would be a little bit, would be less, that's all.
Well, it's it's 52 divided by 650 times 100, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Did I not do it right?
Yeah, no,
No.
that's fine. Yeah,
I'm just,
whatever that, no, I didn't do the number. So it's
I've been known to
52
be wrong a few times,
No, never happened.
like many times.
No, it's right on. It's 8%, right? In this case, you're spot on, okay? All righty, moving on. Okay, let me share. Okay. That's how you do all these, okay? And you see the ones you have to do. Well, let's quickly look at that next page, and we'll need to take a break here, I know. We're almost done. That was sort of the guts of it. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is another thing. It's the same. Forget this. Forget this base rate. Just do it like I did it. Like, don't use this stupid little diagram. Because it'll get you in trouble when you try to do algebra. It's not going to work. So we're going to go on to the next page, the very last page. Okay. Yeah, it's the only thing I don't like about this book is some of these things in here, but most of it's pretty good. Okay, here's the last page. Okay, it's the same idea. Find the missing element. It's all the same idea. Look at number 4. 170 is 85% of what number? Again, if you put rate over 100 is equal to part over base and identify where these are, put them in and solve for the unknown. So this one, it's 70, so $170 is the part, right? And the rate is 85. You just want to know what that base is. It's 170. So it looks like this, right? So, okay, on that particular one, what we know the rate was 85%. 85 over 100 is equal to, and the part was 85, or wait, oh, what are those? I can't, I lost my
Yeah, the
numbers.
part is 170.
Part is 170, thank you. The part is 170, so you don't know what the base is, right? Is that true?
Yes, correct.
So it looks like this. So boom, I got to solve for this base. This base is on, in the denominator. So I have to move it to the other side, right?
Yeah.
So I have to get base on top. I have to get base over here. So it becomes base times 85 over 100. And that's equal to 170. But I have to get by itself, so that means I have to cross multiply these. Flip them around, right? So base is equal to 100 over 85, right? Times 170, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so that, yeah, all that, the key on these is to know how to convert to base, how to convert to rate, and how to convert to part, right? This is the formula right up there. So this particular case, the base is just equal to the rate. No, it's equal to the part divided by the rate, right? We flip the rate, put it on the bottom, and we solve for part, just like we did down there. Okay. So in all these, that's what you have to do. You have to figure out what you're looking for, then put it in an algebraic equation to solve for that particular part, right? Whether it was the part, the base, or the rate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so
Anyway.
that's really it. I realize we went quite long on this whole lecture thing, but it's really important. So if you have problems doing these, and well, actually, after we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and do some more of these. So
Okay.
what I was getting at is, if you have problems over the weekend or whatever, just shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to help you out. So I think at this point, we're going to take a break. Okay, 10:43. Or excuse me, 9:43. So 9:53, we'll get back together again. I'm going to stop recording this thing because it's very long. Stop sharing. And we're going to go here.